Remembering Judy Heumann. Glenna Wright-Gallo, Assistant Secretary, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
I am honored to serve as the current OSERS Assistant Secretary, a position Judy Heumann held for 8 years. Judy was known worldwide for her tenacious advocacy on behalf of people with disabilities, relentless, unapologetic, and with a sense of urgency. Her actions forced desperately needed conversations and resulting actions of school leadership, organizations, governments, and our country as a whole, and did not allow us to be complacent or accepting of status quo. I'm pleased to share OSERS colleagues' heartfelt memories and thoughts on Judy's life as an advocate for all people with disabilities.
Valerie C. Williams, Director, Office of Special Education Programs, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
What leaves me in awe of Judy was how she continued to forge new intersections of disability with the American experience. Judy did not believe that living in a wheelchair was a tragic event, but that the tragedy occurred when society would not allow her to lead her life as she intended. Judy led her life to the fullest and in her 70s introduced herself to younger generations of Americans as social activists by being an author, actress, and podcaster. We are so appreciative of Judy's life and her willingness to spend almost all of the 1990s with us in OSERS.
David Cantrell, Deputy Director, Office of Special Education Programs, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
When I think about Judy's impact on all of us, she really exemplified the quote, "A life well lived is a tribute to us all." Judy had to fight for her rights and regularly got into good trouble in order to live the life that not only she wanted, but on the behalf of others with disabilities. Judy was a transformative civil rights icon who went from leading discussions at the local community level to serve as the Assistant Secretary here at OSERS, then continuing to positively impact the lives of individuals with disabilities across the globe. We owe her great appreciation, and we can honor her legacy by continuing our daily work and advocacy on the behalf of children and youth with disabilities. Thank you, Judy.
Carmen Sanchez, Education Program Specialist, Research to Practice Division, Office of Special Education Programs, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
I had the opportunity to meet Judy Heumann twice. The second time, she told me to put in my contact information in her phone so that she could call me to discuss her ideas for the parent centers. That call never came, but I would have welcomed it even if it had come at 2 a.m. Judy's legacy as a tireless and fierce advocate is rooted in her deep interest in people, in the myriad ways we show our humanity beyond the binary notions of ability and disability. Equity, diversity, and inclusion were not buzzwords to Judy, but the very essence of her being. All of us here in this room have benefited from Judy's advocacy and the legacies of many other champions of children with disabilities. So, how can we best honor Judy? I think it's by supporting each other when we feel too tired to keep going, by seeing in each other our common humanity, and by keeping the faith that together we can make a more inclusive and equitable world that encompasses our wonderful diversity. So, here's to Judy Heumann and her enormous contact list.
Greg Core, Division Director, Monitoring and State Improvement Planning Division, Office of Special Education Programs, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
Judy was an unbelievable path breaker in the disability field. She broke down barriers, not only for herself, but for others who followed. She was truly the mother of disability rights. Judy once said, "If you don't demand what you believe in for yourself, you're not going to get it." I had the distinct pleasure and honor of working with her when she was OSERS Assistant Secretary during the Clinton administration. Judy cared deeply about the work and refused to take no for an answer. As a staff member, you had to be prepared for Judy to call or wheel down to your office at a moment's notice to ask about an issue that had bubbled up. Judy was warm, generous, and most of all, genuine. But she could also be tough and unrelenting when it came to ensuring that a person with a disability was afforded their rights. Judy was fearless and never hesitated to speak truth to power. She courageously confronted authority, calling out injustices and demanding change. But Judy was always positive, even when confronted with a serious issue. That's because she always saw not just how things were, but how things could be. The final time I saw Judy was about this time last summer during OSERS Peer Recognition Awards ceremony, where she gave an inspirational talk. I stayed afterwards just to say hi. As she always did, Judy smiled and immediately asked about my family. She had a way of making you feel special. She asked for my phone number and promptly sent a text message asking for pictures of my kids. Showing that personal interest in you as an individual was Judy's hallmark. She seemed so alive and vital the last time I saw her. Little did I know that 6 months later, Judy would be gone. Judy was a true champion who did great things. The world is truly a better place because of who she was and what she accomplished.
Lisa Gorove, Management and Program Analyst, Policy and Planning Staff, Office of the Assistant Secretary, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
Judy was a friend to all, and she was my friend. We met in Berkeley when she and my ex-husband Bob were working at the First Center for Independent Living. Bob and Judy were born on the same year. We shared marches, the National Council on Independent Living, the Capitol Crawl, Senate hearings, Deaf President Now, signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. We also shared the same apartment building that at the time was not accessible, and the same doctor. Her office was not accessible. Guess what? They're accessible now. Weddings, births, and sadly goodbyes. She told me where my son must be placed in early intervention and kept asking if I was dating. I'm 100% confident, without a doubt, that Judy would want each of us to press for transformative change, hold ourselves and others to it in both our personal and professional lives. It can be risky. It is necessary. I miss her.
Larry Wexler, Division Director, Research to Practice Division, Office of Special Education Programs, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
In Yiddish, a mensch is a person of integrity, morality, dignity, a person with a sense of what is right and responsible. To be a mensch is to be supportive, to be a friend, to be calm in troubled times. Judy Heumann was a mensch, although I can't say she was always calm in troubled times. I worked with Judy for 8 years during the Clinton administration when she was the OSERS Assistant Secretary. Other tributes have recognized her for her achievements, which were legion. I'm going to take a different tack. I used to travel with Judy to conferences and meetings, which gave me the opportunity to listen and learn. It was a disability policy education for me. However, while that sounds a bit glamorous, the reality was that when Judy traveled, she always visited a school and was on a tight schedule. My glamorous job during the visit was to lean over her wheelchair multiple times and say, "Judy, we have to leave right now." She would smile and ignore me. It was a dance we did because when Judy got around children in general, but especially around children with disabilities, she became incandescent with joy. She literally lit up, smiling and conveying the message to those children that they could grow up to do anything, to be anybody, to dream big. Judy was a dreamer, but unlike most people, her sheer force of will transformed those dreams into reality. Her work was her passion. We miss you, Judy.
Katie Neese, Deputy Assistant Secretary, Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, U.S. Department of Education.
I first met Judy in person in 1991 when Senator Harkin traveled to the original Center for Independent Living in Berkeley, California, to celebrate the first anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. When Judy joined the Clinton administration as OSERS Assistant Secretary, I had the great fortune of working hand in glove with her on what became the 1997 amendments to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Thanks to Judy's leadership, we were able to secure legislative language that affirmed students with disabilities must have access to the general curriculum and that their academic progress needed to be measured and reported just like their non-disabled peers. Today, more than 70% of students with disabilities leave high school with a standard high school diploma, representing a nearly 20-point gain from the early 2000s. On a purely personal level, Judy helped me make many decisions about what I should do with my life. I miss her early morning and late night phone calls and her constant support. Maya Angelou sums up Judy for me when she said, "If you're gonna live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that can't be erased." I certainly will continue to do everything I can to ensure Judy's legacy will never be erased.